Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Everything MTG. My name is, of course, Justin, and this is...
Amanda.
And we're back for part 4 of the Commander 2018 Decklist series. Today we're covering Adaptive Enchantment, aka Estrid, aka Bant, aka Banchantment, aka whatever you want to call it. It has multiple names. So we're going to go ahead and kick it right off with our commander, Estrid, the Masked. She's one colorless, one green, one white, one blue for a legendary Planeswalker Estrid. Surprising there. 3 loyalty she comes in with. She has a +2 on tap each enchanted permanent you control. Really good. -1, create a white aura enchantment token named Mask attached to another target permanent. The token has enchant permanent and totem armor. Interesting. And -7, put the top 7 cards of your library into your graveyard. Return all non-aura enchantment cards from your graveyard to the battlefield. Then do the same for aura cards. I like this card.
Yeah.
It's good. Got some very good effects. We have 38 lands here. As before, I'm going to skip the most basic ones. So we're looking at 9 plains, 6 islands, 8 forests. We have an Azorius Chancery, which is a white-blue Ravnica bounce land. Blossoming Sands, which is a green-white gain 1 life land. It enters tapped. Good old Command Tower. Evolving Wilds. Crowsand Verge, which enters the battlefield tapped. You can tap it to add waste, or you can pay 2 to tap it and sacrifice it. Search your library for a forest and a plains card. Put them onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle your library. It's great for fetching up some shock lands. We have Meandering River, which comes in tapped. It adds blue or white. Mosswort Bridge, which is a hideaway land. If you guys aren't familiar with hideaway lands, they're from Lorwyn block. This land enters the battlefield tapped. When it does, look at the top 4 cards of your library, exile 1 face down, then put the rest on the bottom of your library. You can tap this land for green, or you can pay 1 green and tap it, and play the exiled card without paying its mana cost, but only if you control creatures with total power 10 or more. Pretty decent effect. If you're playing big swing stompy creatures, this is definitely possible to do, and you could play like an Avenger Zendikar off this thing for free, which is pretty crazy. Or even if you just have a bunch of tokens, if you go token strat.
I believe, if I recall correctly, the rulings say that you can do it at instant speed because it's an ability and
you should be able to do this at instant speed. That is correct. We have Seaside Citadel, which enters tapped. It adds for green, white, or blue tri-land. Selesnya Sanctuary, which is the green-white Ravnica bounce land. Simic Growth Chamber is the green-blue Ravnica bounce land. Terramorphic Expanse. Thornwood Falls is a green-blue Gain 1 life land, comes in tapped. Tranquil Cove is the white-blue Gain 1 life land, comes in tapped as well. Tranquil Expanse adds green or white, comes in tapped. And finally, Woodland Stream, which is green or blue, comes in tapped. So we're going to cover the rest of this deck list. I'm just going to cover all of it like I did in the last video because I can't remember which ones I've already spoiled, and I don't feel like going back through my old video with like a pen and paper and marking each one off. Just seems to be easier to do it this way. So we'll start out with Bruna, Light of Alabaster. 3 colorless, 2 white, and 1 blue for a 5/5 legendary angel. Flying and Vigilance. When Bruna, Light of Alabaster attacks or blocks, you may attach to it any number of auras on the battlefield, and you may put onto the battlefield attached to it any number of aura cards that could enchant it from your graveyard and or hand. So this will grab every every aura on the battlefield. If it's equipped to your opponent's creature and your opponent controls that aura, it will equip to her.
Yes.
And you can also play them out of your graveyard in your hand. This can be a very surprising card and very powerful card. With Flying and Vigilance already starting at a 5/5, this card is ridiculous. It's a great addition here. She has some pretty cool art too from, looks like, original Avacyn. We have Eidolon of Blossoms, which is 2 and double green for a 2/2 enchantment spirit. It has Constellation. Whenever Eidolon of Blossoms or another enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, draw a card. Very good, especially for an Enchantment Matters theme, which is what we have here. Our next card is Hydra Omnivore, which is 4 and double green for an 8/8. 6 drop 8/8, not bad. When Hydra Omnivore deals combat damage to an opponent, it deals that much damage to each other opponent.
So
much like Myriad, except like better.
Yeah, because it doesn't have to swing and yeah.
Yeah, as long as it deals combat damage to that opponent. The only unfortunate thing is it doesn't have trample, but we're playing green.
It's
so
kind of like Saskia, in a way.
it's much like Saskia, but better because it'll hit everybody.
Right.
We have Ajani's Chosen, which is 2 and double white for a 3/3 cat soldier creature. Whenever an enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, you create a 2/2 white cat creature token. If that enchantment is an aura, you may attach it to the token. Great enchantment matters card, very powerful, especially if you're playing auras. You can definitely power up some little chumpy tokens for blocks or even swings on the next turn.
Mm-hmm.
Our next card is Celestial Archon, which is 3 and double white for a 4/4 enchantment Archon. It has Bestow for 5 and 2 white, if you're not sure what that is. If you cast this card for its Bestow cost, it's an aura spell with enchant creature. It becomes a creature again if it's not enchanted to a creature or attached to a creature. The creature itself or the Bestow will give flying and first strike. If it's bestowed, it also gives +4/+4.
Mm-hmm.
So what this would do is you have, like, say, a 1/1 token. You can cast it for 7 with Bestow, and the enchanted creature will get 4/4 flying and first strike, becoming a 5/5. If for some reason somebody murders that token, the token will die, the Celestial Archon will fall off, and become a 4/4 with flying and first strike.
Mm-hmm.
These Bestow cards are, it's unfortunate that the Bestow cost is more expensive, but it's really great because you essentially get a 2-for-1.
Yeah.
Unless they manage, I think even if they exile the creature, it won't matter.
Yeah.
This will still fall off and become a creature. So they would have to literally play something that kills it and gets rid of all the auras on top of it, which I think there's like one card in the game that does that. Great card. We have Silent Sentinel. 5 and double white for a 4/6 Archon with flying. When it attacks, you may return target enchantment card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Pretty amazing for enchantment matters. Boon Satyr is our next card. Double green and 1 colorless for a 4/2 enchantment Satyr. It has flash. It has Bestow for 3 and double green. And enchanted creature gets +4/+2. Not bad for 5. And you can flash that in as a combat trick, which is really great. So even if you're like killing them, you're swinging with a 1/1 token, they're like, I don't need to block that. You can hit them for 5. Utterly ridiculous. We have Herald of the Pantheon, 1 green and 1 for a 2/2 Centaur Shaman. Enchantment spells you cast cost 1 colorless less to cast, and whenever you cast an enchantment spell, you gain 1 life. Again, they're on point with the enchantment theme here, gaining life and making them cost less, and this guy costs 2, which is amazing. We have Cold-Eyed Selkie, which is 1 and a hybrid green-blue times 2. So it's 1 green-blue, green-blue. It's a 1/1 Merfolk Rogue with Island Walk. You guys can figure out what that is. Whenever Cold-Eyed Selkie deals combat damage to a player, you may draw that many cards. So in this scenario, you're only going to draw 1, but if you drop Boon Satyr in as a little surprise, you're getting 5. Really great card. We have Daxos of Miletus before he got utterly murdered and became Daxos the Returned. Yeah, 1 colorless, a white, and a blue for a 2/2 legendary human soldier. He can't be blocked by creatures with power 3 or greater, making it fairly hard to kill him. Whenever Daxos of Miletus deals combat damage to a player, exile the top card of that player's library. You gain life equal to that card's CMC, and until end of turn you may cast that card, and you may spend mana as though it were mana of any color to cast it. So it not only gets you life, not only is it hard to kill because it can't be blocked by creatures with power greater than it, he is also potentially allowing you to cast some ridiculous stuff off the top of your opponent's libraries.
If the top card is a land, you get to play it for free, essentially. Does it count as a land drop?
It says cast, so I'm not entirely sure on that. It would count as your land drop.
Yeah, you can if you can do it.
Some cards are very specific about being able to play lands with effects like this. More recently, they're not that specific, but I'm not sure if this one would count because this is all the way back from Theros. If it does allow you to cast that card, it would be your land drop for the turn, though, as I understand the rulings. Our next card is Elderwood Scion, 3 colorless, a green, and a white for a 4/4 elemental. It has trample, it has lifelink. Spells you cast that target Elderwood Scion cost 2 colorless less, and spells your opponents cast that target Elderwood Scion cost 2 colorless more to cast. A 4/4 for 5 is already not bad. especially when it has trample and lifelink. The fact that you can equip it or give it an aura or whatever for 2 less is amazing. And the fact that if your opponents want to remove it with targeted removal, it's going to cost them 2 more is utterly ridiculous. This card is so hard to remove, so easy to get value on.
Especially with the bestow cost costing so much, like.
Yeah, with the bestow costing so much, like that one that cost 7, it would only cost 5. That's a great discount. And if you're playing Herald of the Pantheon, it only costs 4. So it really all adds up to some good value. We have Archetype of Imagination on our next card, which is 4 colorless, double blue. It's a 3/2 enchantment human wizard. Creatures you control have flying, and creatures your opponents control lose flying and can't have or gain flying. All the archetypes do something specific to their color like this. It's really great. There's not much more to say than that. One thing I will point out, if you guys haven't figured out the theme yet, is many of these creatures are enchantment creatures. And the reason for that is so they get discounts off of Herald of the Pantheon, gaining the 1 life, or drawing a card, or whatever it's going to be. It syncs up very well.
And the synergy with the Planeswalker herself.
Yeah, the synergy with the Walker herself plays right into this. We have Whitewater Naiads as our next card. It's 3 double blue for a 4/4 enchantment creature nymph. It has Constellation. Whenever Whitewater Naiads or another enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, target creature can't block this turn.
Can't be blocked.
Oh, sorry, can't be blocked this turn. That's actually 100% better. Because you can cast that, hit it on Cold-Eyed Selkie, and then at least you're drawing 1.
Yeah.
Possibly more if it's already enchanted. We have Aura Gnarlid, which is 2 and a green for a 2/2 beast. Creatures with power less than Aura Gnarlid's power can't block it. And Aura Gnarlid gets +1/+1 for each aura on the battlefield, including your opponent's auras. Pretty powerful. Creatures with power less than it can't block it. So killing it could be easy up until a certain point.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, it can't be chumped.
And it won't be able to be chumped. So that's really good. We have Reclamation Sage, a good old standby, includes in almost every green deck. 2 and a green for a 2/1 Elf Shaman. When Reclamation Sage enters the battlefield, you may destroy target artifact or enchantment. Simple, great card, good version of removal for artifacts and enchantments if you need it. Also, a 2/1's not that bad, so it's nice to see that as an inclusion here. We have Yavimaya Enchantress, pretty sweet looking art. 2 and a green for a 2/2 human druid. She gets +1/+1 for each enchantment on the battlefield, including your opponent's enchantments. Stupid with this deck. And come on, we all know your opponents are playing enchantments.
Yeah.
Could be real stupid. Our next card is Martial Coup, which is X and double white for sorcery. Create X 1/1 white soldier creature tokens. If X is 5 or more, destroy all other creatures.
It's a good card.
I would almost always cast this for 5. Unless I had some seriously dumb stuff on the board, in which case I probably wouldn't be playing this anyways.
No, you just hold on to it.
I'd hold on to it until somebody wiped my board, and then it'd be like, okay, well, screw you. Now I'm going to wipe everybody else's board, and I've got a bunch of,
5 1/1 tokens.
1/1s. Yeah, it's
at
really,
least.
really great. Our next card is Phyrexian Rebirth, which is 4 and double white for a sorcery. Speaking of destroying all creatures, destroy all creatures, then create an XX colorless horror artifact creature token where X is the number of creatures destroyed this way. It's always nice to see mass removal in these decks, because previous iterations of Commander decks have not had very many board wipes. Like if you play the some of the original ones, or you play the ones with like Marin even and Daxos, board wipes like don't exist. I think most of them have none, and like 1 or 2 of them have 1. Never more than 1. All the decks in this recent series have had at least 2, and this is actually the second one. The third one's actually coming up, which is Winds of Wrath. I play this in my SRAM deck. It's amazing, and it's going to be amazing here as well. It's 3 and 2 white for a sorcery. Destroy all creatures that aren't enchanted, and they can't be regenerated.
That's so good.
That's really great in this deck. The third form of mass removal as well, if you want to count Martial Coup, which I would. So it's really great. I mean, that's 3 great ways to handle things. Our next card up is Creeping Renaissance, which is 3 and double green for a sorcery. You can choose a permanent type. Return all cards of the chosen type from your graveyard to your hand. Pretty ridiculous. You can just call enchantment and basically get everything. It also has flashback for 5 and double green. Flashback lets you cast it from your graveyard for its flashback cost, which is typically different from its original cost. In this case, it's 5 and 2 green instead of 3 and 2 green. Then you have to exile the card. But what you can do is you can name enchantments with this, and then you can name, it just says a permanent type, so then you can name creatures. So whatever creatures you might have had in there that weren't enchantment creatures, you're grabbing all your enchantments back, you're grabbing all your creatures back. That's pretty much everything in your graveyard.
Land or artifacts or whatever.
Yeah, if somebody's a douche and they blew up all your lands somehow, I mean, you could get that back if you manage to get back up to 5 lands. Or if they blew up like a good amount of lands or milled you for like 10 cards and 7 of them were lands. That could be pretty good. We have Krufix's Insight, which is 2 and a green for a sorcery. Reveal the top 6 cards of your library. Put up to 3 enchantment cards from among them into your hand and the rest of the revealed cards into your graveyard. For 3, this is basically a draw 3 in this deck. Because so many, I mean, we're talking probably, I would say 2/3 of this deck are probably enchantments between creatures and regular enchantments and auras. You're almost always drawing 3 off this. So this is an excellent.
You really whiff.
Yeah, you would have to really whiff, but I think the chances of that are relatively low.
If nothing else, you're probably drawing at least 2.
Yeah, so this is a great include. I mean, you're definitely getting 1.
Yeah.
Unless you shuffled real bad. You got 6 lands on top, and that's unfortunate.
I mean, I've seen people whiff with cards like these, and man, it feels bad, man.
Yeah, it feels bad. It doesn't happen frequently, but it's possible. But this is basically a guaranteed pay 3, draw 3. Mm-hmm. Our next card is Dismantling Blow, which is 2 and 1 white for an instant. It has Kicker for 2 and a blue, which is very interesting. You can pay the additional 2 and a blue as you cast this spell. You destroy target artifact or enchantment. If you kick the spell, you draw 2 cards. So that's your basic draw effect on like a divination. Mm-hmm. The very standard of drawing cards is paying 3 and drawing 2 cards.
Right.
So unfortunately here you would have to pay 6, but you draw 2 cards and you blow up somebody's artifact or enchantment. I think it's a pretty nice targeted removal spell. We have Bant Charm, which is always nice to see charms. I love charms in these decks. Green, white, and blue for an instant. You can choose one of the 3 modes here. You can destroy a target artifact, put target creature on the bottom of its owner's library, or counter target instant spell. This is probably the only counter spell in here. I probably wouldn't save it for that, but in the clutch it can come through and do some serious work. Destroying an artifact, if somebody has something really stupid on the field, like Unwinding Clock, which is in one of these decks, you can handle that. Or you can always, you know, tuck somebody's Avenger of Zendikar on the bottom of their library and call it a day. Great. We have Soul Ring, and I'm going to continue the tradition of not telling you guys what that is. I'm sure you already know. We have Sigil of the Empty Throne, which is 3 and double white for an enchantment. Whenever you cast an enchantment spell, create a 4/4 white angel creature token with flying. You're going to get an unbelievable amount of angels off of this in this deck. It doesn't include itself when it comes in, but it will include subsequent cards.
But if you have that and the cat, the Johnny's Chosen,
yeah, if you have this and the cat,
get like double value.
Yeah, you're gonna get a lot of tokens. We have Dictative Krufix up next, which is double blue and 1 colorless for an enchantment with flash. At the beginning of each player's draw step, that player draws an additional card. I'm not big on giving my opponents value, especially not when it comes to card draw value. But the great thing about this one is you can get the most amount of value from it by flashing it in on the opponent's turn, who is right before you at their end step. So they're like, okay, Justin, I'm going to pass to you. We went around the table. I'm the 4th person to go, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to flash this in on your end step. So I draw one at the beginning of my upkeep. That's putting you 1 turn basically ahead of everybody else and giving you a good amount of value on your next turn. Umbras are back, which is great to see. We have Bear Umbra, which is possibly one of the most powerful ones out there. 2 and double green for an enchantment aura with enchant creature. Enchanted creature gets +2/+2 and has whenever this creature attacks. Not deals damage, just on the declare attacker step. If you declare this, you untap all the lands you control. It additionally has Totem Armor, which makes the enchanted creature, if it would be destroyed, you blow up the Totem Armor and your creature lives instead, which is amazing. Totem Armor is one of the best effects in the game, in my opinion. The fact that this not only gives 2/2, but lets you tap all your lands, play some stupid stuff, swing, get all your lands back, play more stupid stuff, is really, really ridiculous.
The only thing is, it doesn't stop exile effects.
Yep, it won't stop exile effects, but it will stop like a murder. It will stop a Wrath of God because it doesn't have to be targeted. It's just if it would be destroyed in any way, shape, or form, combat damage, wrath of God, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Even the one thing that'll get it, other than exile, would be it would be -1/-1 counters.
Yeah.
Because if the creature would be destroyed with the -1/-1s, it would be destroyed. It would destroy the aura, and then it would immediately check the creature's power. After that, it would still be negative, and the creature would die anyways.
Right.
So it's still really hard to remove it.
But
though.
it does have a nice +2/+2 boost on it. So.
Yeah, the 2/2 is pretty great, and then the other effect is just dumb. We have Enchantress's Presence, which is 2 and a green for an enchantment. Whenever you cast an enchantment spell, you can draw a card. Great source of draw. We have Epic Proportions, which is 4 and double green for an enchantment aura. It has Flash. Enchant creature. The enchanted creature gets 5/5 and trample.
Wow.
Awesome combat trick. Like
blocker.
stupid combat trick.
Yeah, or if you were blocking one of their big stupid creatures with like a chump 1/1.
Putting this on like Cold-Eyed Selkie, they're like, oh yeah, I'll block your Cold-Eyed Selkie 1/1, yuck, yuck, yuck. And you're like, okay, slap down the 5/5, it's a 6/6, kill your dude, trample over the damage, draw the cards, just game over. Peace out, son. It's over. Our next card is Ground Seal, which is 1 and a green for an enchantment. When it enters the battlefield, you can draw a card. Cards in graveyards can't be the target of spells or abilities.
Doesn't that go against your commander's ultimate right there?
Cards in... Hold on. Let me look at the exact wording of Estrid here. Put the top 7 cards of your library into your graveyard. Return all non-R enchantment cards from your graveyard to the battlefield. Then do the same for R cards. I would say no.
Okay.
Because this says they can't be the target of spells or abilities. But you're not targeting anything.
Right.
You're just returning things. Now, if it said return, like you play some card and it says return a creature card, like return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. No. It would fizzle.
That'd be really good against that worm spell that has retrace.
Yeah, it would. I can't remember what it's called, but that would be great against that. Not only that, but something like Deathrite Shaman, which isn't in here, but Deathrite Shaman lets you exile a creature card from their graveyard and like get 2 life or something like that. There's also an Ooze that does the same thing. Like put a +1/+1 counter on it if you exile a creature card from somebody's graveyard. So that's really good. We have Spawning Grounds, which is really expensive at 6 and double green. It's an enchantment aura with enchant land. The enchanted land has tap, create a 5/5 green beast creature token with trample, which would explain why it costs 8. Because that's really dumb.
Especially when you have the untapped enchanted permanents.
Yeah, on your commander untap all enchanted permanents. Okay, I'm gonna make a 5/5 beast with this, and then I'm gonna untap it, and then I'm gonna just do it again. Yeah, that's so stupid. We have Finest Hour, which is 2 green, white, and a blue for an enchantment with Exalted. If you're not familiar, it's whenever a creature you control attacks alone, that creature gets 1/1 until end of turn. Whenever a creature you control attacks alone, if it's the first combat phase of the turn, untap that creature, and after this phase, there will be an additional combat phase. Seems really out of place.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah, because the secondary effect is great, but when are you ever going to attack alone? You're making tokens with the cat. You're making multiple... I mean, you're...
4/4 angels.
4/4 angels. Your Martial Coup gets you 1/1s. You're getting so many different creatures on the board. Not just even tokens, but just... You have a lot of creatures here. The fact that it requires you... This entire card, if you have 2 creatures on the field, is dead. Unless you're only going to attack with 1.
But, I mean, the only thing good about it... But it does give the double combat, so... I guess that's what it's for. Not necessarily the Exalted, but the double combat phase.
Yeah, it's a good card on its own, but it definitely feels out of place here. We have Righteous Authority, which is 3 white and a blue for an enchantment aura with enchant creature. Enchanted creature gets +1/+1 for each card in its controller's hand, and at the beginning of the draw step of the enchanted creature's controller, that player draws an additional card.
Good card is good.
Good card. Continued card draw. +1/+1 for each card in your hand, and it's making you draw more. If you pair that up with Dictative Crufix, things are going to get too spicy for the pepper real quick. Sage's Reverie is 3 and a white for an enchantment aura with enchant creature. When it enters the battlefield, draw a card for each aura you control that's attached to a creature. Enchanted creature gets +1/+1 for each aura you control that's attached to a creature. I play this in SRAM, which is Tron, and it's incredibly stupid. I typically draw like 5 cards, and it gives like +6/+6 because it'll also count itself.
Yeah.
So it's pretty great. And when it enters the battlefield, so at the very least, you're getting
Mhm.
+1/+1 from this, and you're drawing a card off.
Right.
This is unfortunately a pay for draw 1 at least, but it's a good card.
Hopefully more.
Yep.
Soul Snare.
Soul Snare is our next card. This is 1 white for an enchantment. You can pay 1 white and sacrifice this to exile target creature that's attacking you or a planeswalker you control.
Good card.
This is like I didn't even know this existed, and this is an excellent removal spell because it has multiple layers here. We're looking at, okay, if they're attacking you or a walker you control, you can exile the creature that's attacking. Not only that, it prevents, it does a good level of prevention from your opponent's attacking. They're like, oh, well, I'll swing on you with the 1/1 instead of the 8/8. I'll send the 8/8 at somebody else because if I swing it at you, I'm just going to lose it.
Right.
So that's great. And even if they decide to swing, they have like an 8/8 and a 4/4. They're like, okay, well, now I have to make the choice. I guess I'll get 4 damage in because the 8/8 is obviously gone. You know, you're going to count on the fact that your opponent's getting rid of it.
The only downside to this is it has to attack you. So if they blow it up before they go to attack phase, you're kind of screwed.
Right, and you can't do it if it's attacking anybody else.
Right.
If you wanted to do some sort of political shenanigans, this is only if it's attacking you or a planeswalker you control.
But it is a good deterrent.
You can't help anybody else out. Yeah, this is great, and the hilarious thing is it's an enchantment, so you can bring it back with multiple cards here.
Oh, yeah.
Which is great, and it only costs 2, technically. 1 to cast, 1 to exile. If you could get a 2/2 off of this, you've made the value because a 2/2 bear for 2. If you get a 3/3 off of this, you're ahead. So this is a great card. We have Unquestioned Authority for 2 and a white. Enchantment Aura, enchant creature. When an Unquestioned Authority enters the battlefield, you draw a card, and it has enchant creature has prot from creatures.
Oh my god, so good.
That's really good.
Basically, it's unblockable.
Yeah, it's unblockable by...
It can't be targeted by any creature ability.
Unblockable by creatures. Draw 1. Only for 3. That's not bad. I like that. The art on it's super cool.
But it can't be targeted by any creature ability either.
I do believe you are correct on that.
It's protection from creatures, so if they have a creature ability, you know, tap, deals 1 damage to target creature, you can't do it.
Reckless Pyromancer, or whatever it's called. Yeah, he taps and deals 1 damage to target creature. Well, protection from creatures... Protection's a complicated keyword, and that's why they got rid of it.
Right.
Now it's hexproof from. But hexproof from is the same thing as protection in this scenario where it gives you hexproof from creatures.
Except for the difference between that is protection means you can't be
blocked. If you block one of their creatures, it takes no damage.
Yeah.
Yeah, protection's way better.
Good.
We have Eel Umbra, more Umbras, which is 1 and a blue for an enchantment aura with flash. Enchant creature, it gets +1/+1, and it has totem armor. Doesn't seem great until you realize it has flash, and it's the best defensive combat trick that you can possibly pull. Because not only would you possibly trade with their creature with the extra 1/1 power,
or
you're getting totem armor.
Or if you think about it, it's got totem armor, so you can stop a board wipe.
Yeah, if there's something you want to save. Yep. I mean, everything with flash and everything with totem armor is amazing. So we have Vow of Flight, which is 2 and 1 blue for an enchantment aura with enchant creature. The enchanted creature gets +2/+2, flying, and can't attack you or a planeswalker you control. So this has multiple good effects here. You can put it on your own creature, give it 2/2 and flying. You can put it on somebody else's creature, give it 2/2 flying, and it can't come at you.
Right.
So pretty good. Good little bit of pseudo removal.
It would still count as your enchantment. You would still control it, even if it's on an opponent's creature.
Yep, that's exactly right. We have Dawn's Reflection, which is 3 and a green for an enchantment aura with enchant land. Whenever enchanted land is tapped for mana, its controller adds an additional 2 mana in any combination of colors. So you're paying 4, and you're tapping whatever land you enchant for 3.
Yeah.
1 for whatever color it actually is. If it's a forest, you'll get a forest. And then the other 2 can be anything. This card is stupid. Like the amount of ramp on this, and basically you're paying 1 for this.
Yeah.
So that's really great. We also have Fertile Ground, which is 1 and a green for an enchantment aura with enchant land. Whenever enchanted land is tapped for mana, its controller adds an additional 1 mana of any color. You're basically paying 1 for this one. That's awesome. And the fact that it adds 1 of any color is the big draw here. Yeah. You need some mana fixing. You're in dire trouble. You have, all green mana, and you have some blue cards in your hand. Slap this sucker down. Now it taps for blue, and you also get the green.
Right.
So Good effect. Not to mention, it's an enchantment.
Yeah.
This could potentially cost 1 green if you have your enchantment dude out that makes it cost 1 less. Could potentially get you a life.
That and Dawn's Reflection are both enchantments, and so they untap.
Yep.
If with that one thing that lets you untap.
Yep, could draw you a card.
Astrid.
Yeah, the minus effect on Astrid lets you untap all enchanted permanents you control, or enchantments, right? Or is it no? It's enchantment permanents because regular enchantments don't typically tap.
The -1 makes enchantment. There's something else that lets you untap.
Let me take a look. +2, untap each enchanted permanent you control.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this can get you some seriously good value. You can have Dawn's Reflection making your mana tap for 3, Fertile Ground making your mana tap for 2.
That's 5.
Yeah, untap it with Astrid, which is a +2 anyways, getting it closer to alt, and then you get another 3 and another 2.
Yeah.
That's 10 mana.
Yeah.
On 2 freaking lands.
Good.
It's real good. We have Overgrowth, which is 2 and a green for an enchantment aura enchant land. I bet you guys can't guess what this does. Whenever enchanted land is tapped for mana, its controller adds an additional double green.
Right. It's the same thing except for it's specific to green. Yeah.
Still great with this commander.
Yeah.
Because you could be getting so much value off this stuff.
Yeah. Snake Umbra.
Now, you can get some serious value too with Bear Umbra. If you have Bear Umbra, you can tap these 3 times. If you have those 2 cards and you have 5 mana, you have 15 effective mana, because you can tap all your stuff, swing with Bear Umbra, untap all your stuff with Bear Umbra, tap all your stuff, Astrid, untap all your stuff, tap all your stuff.
Yeah.
The amount of stupidity that this can get to if you get that out is like, I mean, at that point you're winning the game.
If you get all 3 out, man, you're really going to town.
Yeah, right. We have our next Umbra, which is Snake Umbra, 2 and a green for an enchantment aura with enchant creature. The creature gets +1/+1 and has, whenever this creature deals damage to an opponent, you can draw a card. Of course, it has Totem Armor.
There's a lot of card draw in this deck.
Yeah, I've never seen so much card draw in green.
Yeah.
And a lot of the card draw is in green. That's the funny thing about it. We have Vow of Wildness. 2 and a green for an enchantment aura with enchant creature. The creature gets +3/+3 trample and can't attack you or planeswalker you control. Again, another interesting bit of pseudo removal or some very powerful effects on your own creature. For 3, you get 3/3 and trample. That's pretty dang good. You know, or you can give it to your opponent who wants to smack around your other opponent, make them have a grudge match, you know, keep them off you. Good stuff.
While you build your board up, you know.
Yeah, we have Wild Growth, which is 1 green, enchantment aura with enchant land. Whenever the enchanted land is tapped for mana, its controller adds an additional green.
Wow, there is a lot of land enchantment in this deck.
That's because of the Astrid ability to untap.
Yeah.
It makes you untap your lands and get you so much value. Aside from a turn 1 Soul Ring, I'd say this is probably your best play in this deck so far, because you can make 2 straight off the bat. Unflinching Courage is 1 colorless, a green and a white for an enchantment aura with enchant creature. The enchanted creature gets +2/+2, has trample and lifelink.
Good card.
Good card. We have the rest of the cards, which I believe are all the new ones. Sorry, I'm messing with my desk here. There's like a spot that keeps poking me in the foot. I'm going to sand that down later. It's driving me nuts. We have Kestia the Cultivator, which is 1 colorless, a green, a white, and a blue for a 4/4 legendary enchantment creature nymph. This can be one of your commanders. I believe it's one of the other 2 alternate commanders. The art is very cool, very reminiscent of Theros, but she's an artificer, kind of like Brea, just not quite
crazy.
It has Bestow for 3, a green, a white, and a blue. The enchanted creature would get +4/+4. Whenever an enchantment creature or whenever an enchanted creature or enchantment creature you control attacks, draw a card.
Ooh.
That's really good. Even more card draw. We were just talking about how much is in here. Your next potential commander is Tuvasa the Sunlit, which is green, white, and a blue for a 1/1 legendary Merfolk Shaman. Tuvasa the Sunlit gets 1/1 for each enchantment you control, which could be very powerful. Whenever you cast your first enchantment spell each turn, draw a card.
So much card draw on this deck. It's crazy.
I think this is the one I'm going to be picking up for my daily driver, and I'll be picking up Esper to get Yoriko.
I want this one.
thought you wanted Sihili.
You can have Sihili on with this one.
We're never going to figure it out.
I know.
Imperial Storm is 4 and 2 white for a sorcery. When you cast this spell, copy it for each time you've cast your commander from the command zone this game. You create a 4/4 white angel creature token with flying.
Okay. So
this effect seems bad.
Yeah, I mean you could get.
It costs way too much.
Yeah, it costs 6. If it was like 2 or 3 or 4 even, like I would say 4. I mean she's only a 4-drop.
Yeah, Esther's only a 4-drop, so this is one of the better ones. Yeah. But the most you're ever gonna get off this is like 3.
2 or 3, yeah.
Yeah. Some of these cards are very good.
Yeah.
This one is probably the worst one I've seen. Excuse me. We have Heavenly Blade Master, which is 5 and a white for a 3/6 angel, flying double striker. When it enters the battlefield, you may attach any number of auras and equipment you control to it, so quite unlike Rhea. Other creatures you control get +1/+1 for each aura and equipment attached to Heavenly Blade Master.
Yeah.
It can definitely pump up your other creatures pretty hard.
Yeah.
If you're playing tokens, like with the 1/1s from Martial Coup, this could get stupid.
Yeah.
Not only that, but she's got flying and double strike.
Right.
Right, so she's going to be stupid herself.
Yeah, because all the enchantments would affect, the auras would affect her, and...
Yep.
Yeah.
So we have Estrid's Invocation, which is 2 and a blue for an enchantment. You may have Estrid's Invocation enter the battlefield as a copy of any enchantment you control, except it gains at the beginning of your upkeep. You may exile this enchantment. If you do, return to the battlefield under its owner's control.
What enchantment would you want to flash? I mean,
Would you want to blink?
Yeah, blink.
Let's take a quick look.
I'm just curious, like what? I'm sure there's ones that come in and let you like draw cards and stuff like that. But
you could flash the Vow of Wildness and stuff like that, so it would come back and you could choose a new target. I think that's how it works. I could be wrong. It might just fizzle. What is this? No. Yeah, I'm having trouble finding one here. Coming back, looking through.
That one draws a card.
That one draws a... Unquestioned Authority would draw a card. Sage's Reverie, if you could attach auras, could draw you multiple cards.
Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, Esther's Invocation. It immediately returns it, so it's not at the next end step. What? Yeah, I'm not sure if you're able to recast the auras. That's the big deal. Ground Seal would let you blink to draw a card. If you had Enchantress's Presence on the field whenever you cast an enchantment spell, draw a card. No, because it would just come back.
Yeah.
Dictate would be pointless. Sigil would be pointless. Having a hard time here.
Yeah.
Reclamation Sage. No, that's a creature.
Not an enchantment, though.
That is a creature? What about an enchantment creature?
Yeah,
whenever Whitewire Naiads or another enchantment enters battlefield under your control, target creature can't be blocked.
Yeah.
That's definitely a target. What else do we have here? Nope. Having some problems here. Let's see. Still looking. Sorry, guys. I know we're like taking forever.
I know. I'm just curious, like how.
Whenever an enchantment enters the field for a Johnny's Chosen, it doesn't have to be cast.
Same thing for.
So you could get some silly tokens.
Is that the same work for the?
Whenever Eidolon of Blossoms or another enchantment enters the field, draw a card.
Right. Get she's not an enchantment.
Right.
How about what about the Sigil of the Empty Throne? Is that whenever it enters or cast?
Sigil. Whenever you cast.
Okay.
I'm going to have to assume this is for auras. I'm not sure on the exact ruling. If you blink an aura, if it comes back, it goes on the stack and you can choose a new target for it. If that's the case, you could keep blinking those
draw
the one that lets you draw, or you can keep blinking the one like Sage's Reverie. You want to give something else the +1/+1s.
It creates a copy of it.
Esther's Invocation creates a
copy of it.
Enters the battlefield as a copy of any enchantment except you control.
Except it gains at the beginning of your upkeep, you may exile this enchantment. If you do, return to the battlefield under its owner's control.
Yeah, that's all I'm thinking is like if you want to keep moving your enchantments around that give like +3/+3 and trample, or if it's enchanted to one of your opponent's creatures so you can stop it from attacking, you want it on your own creature, you want it on another bigger creature. If that's how the auras work, then this is right on point. Anyways, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. We're not sure. We're going to move on, though. We're wasting a lot of time on that card. Everwatching Threshold is 2 and a blue for an enchantment. Whenever an opponent attacks you or planeswalker you control with 1 or more creatures, draw a card. There's a little more card draw. Another Umbra, Octopus Umbra, 3 and 2 blue for an enchantment aura with Enchant Creature. Enchanted creature has base power and toughness 8/8, and has whenever this creature attacks, you may tap target creature with power 8 or less as totem armor. Extremely powerful effect.
Yeah.
And there's one of those other auras that you would want to blink because it has totem armor. You've got a more important creature on the field now. You want to put this on it if that's possible. We have Genesis Storm, which is 4 and double green for a sorcery. When you cast this spell, copy it for each time you've cast your commander from the game, command zone this game. Reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a non-land card, a non-land permanent card. Don't let her have it. You may put that card onto the battlefield, then put all cards revealed this way that weren't put onto the battlefield on the bottom of your library in a random order.
Daddy said no.
And I gotta read this one more time. When you cast this spell, copy it each time you've cast your commander from the command zone in this game. Reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a non-land permanent. You may put that card onto the battlefield. Then put all cards revealed this way that weren't put onto the battlefield on the bottom of your library in a random order. So if you've cast your commander twice, this could be good because it's a 6-drop. You can get 2 non-land permanents off the top of your library.
Oh, so you get it for each?
For each time you've cast your commander from the command zone.
Okay.
That seems okay. Definitely better than the other one. We have Myth Unbound, which is 2 and a green for an enchantment. Your commander costs 1 colorless less to cast for each time it's been cast from the command zone in this game. Whenever your commander is put on into the command zone from anywhere, draw a card. This is one of the best cards printed in this round of commander decks, in my opinion. It effectively halves your commander cost. This would probably, your commander tax. This would probably be an auto-include in any green deck for me going forward.
Oh, yeah.
Just because it's so good. Your commander dies, oh, I draw a card. Your commander costs 5, and it's died once, well, now it only costs 6 instead of 7.
Right.
Super powerful. I can't wait to find out that card's going to be like $20 because this is the only way to get it. Nihilia's Colossus is 6 and a green for a 6/6 enchantment giant with Constellation. Whenever it or another enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, double target creature's power and toughness until end of turn. There's what you want to blink.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because every time you blink it, it's doubling something's power and toughness. Okay, I'm going to make this 5/5 a 10/10. I'm going to blink it. I'm going to make this 10/10 a 20.
Well, Ester's Invocation becomes a copy of it.
Right.
So there's one trigger.
Right.
Then it blinks it.
Right.
Second trigger. Do you see what I'm saying?
Right.
And if you have to have it on the field already.
Right.
So when you cast the invocation, that's an enchantment. 1 trigger.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
It becomes a copy. Second trigger.
Yeah, it can get
and
really
then
stupid
blinks,
really quick.
Third trigger. So 3 triggers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We also have Ravenous Slime, which is 2 and a green for a creature ooze. Can't be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less. It's a 1/1. I know I didn't mention that. It can't be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less. So it's definitely removable because anything with power 3 or greater can block it.
But if you pump it up with
If
craziness.
a creature an opponent controls would die, instead exile that creature and put a number of +1/+1 counters equal to the creature's power on this card.
Wow.
Yeah, that's powerful.
Yeah, that's pretty
powerful. One of my most favorite cards from this set, just on pure flavor and art, is Eric's Mythi's Slumbering Isle, which is 2, a green and a blue for a 12/12 legendary creature Kraken. It enters the battlefield tapped with 5 slumber counters on it. As long as it has a slumber counter on it, it is a land, not a creature. Whenever you cast a spell, you may remove a slumber counter from it. It taps to add green and blue. It taps to add green and blue regardless of if it's a creature or not, which is a great thing. 12/12 land.
Yeah.
And then turns into a 12/12
Kraken
tapper. Yeah, it's so good, and the art looks super cool. I mean, this card's great. It's very reminiscent of TD, and with the amount of what is it? Whenever you cast a spell, it doesn't even have to be an instant sorcery like TD. This is anything.
Yeah.
Except for land, obviously. So this could be, you could pop these 5 slumber counters off so quick.
Oh yeah.
And the fact that it ramps you on top, this effectively costs 2 because it's a land. It comes in untapped.
It comes in tapped.
Does it?
Enters the battlefield.
Oh, enters the battlefield tapped. Still, it essentially costs 2. That's not bad. Looks awesome. We have Loyal Unicorn, which is 3 and a white for a 3/4 Vig. vigilance, if y'all don't know that. Lieutenant, at the beginning of combat on your turn, if you control your commander, prevent all combat damage that will be dealt to creatures you control this turn. Other creatures you control gain vigilance until end of turn.
That's really good. Because you can swing.
I wish this had flash.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah. Hold on. Yeah, at the beginning of combat in your turn. Okay, yeah, it wouldn't matter. So this is basically a Dolmen Gate on a creature.
Right.
Dolmen Gate has this exact same effect without the vigilance.
Right.
And Dolmen Gate is OP.
This is better than Dolmen Gate, though.
It's strictly better than Dolmen Gate.
But the only difference is you have to have your commander.
Yeah. Yep, and that could be difficult to do. We have Loyal Drake, which is 2 and a blue for a 2/2 flying Drake with Lieutenant. At the beginning of combat on your turn, if you control your commander, draw a card.
Okay.
Not bad. The Loyal Unicorn, if I didn't give you the creature type, hard to tell. It's a unicorn. We also have Loyal Guardian, which is 4 and a green for a 4/4 Rhino with Trample. Has Lieutenant. At the beginning of combat on your turn, if you control your commander, put a 1/1 counter on each creature you control.
So good.
It's going to be very powerful. It's a great card.
It's like, it's Shalai without the paying the mana.
Yeah, without paying 6. And our very last card is in every deck, I do believe. Forge of Heroes. Tap, add waste to your mana pool, or tap, choose target commander that entered the battlefield this turn. Put a 1/1 counter on it if it's a creature, and a loyalty counter on it if it's a planeswalker.
I'm still saying that's going to be a standard card.
Yeah, that's probably going to be an auto include in every commander deck.
Yep. Commander deck.
Not only that, but it does have a political aspect to it. Maybe your opponent's playing a planeswalker. It comes in, they're like, hey, wouldn't mind having that 1 extra loyalty counter. I won't attack you or whatever for like a turn. If you could hit me up with that extra 1/1 counter or whatever, could be very valuable. So anyways, guys, thanks for keeping up with all the commander deck lists with us for 2018. That's going to be the final one. Probably the most exciting one for me. Right. Banchantments. Saheeli's up there. Banchantments is up there, and I'm picking up the Esper just for Aminatou just for Yuriko.
Yeah.
I might play it, but I'm picking up for Yuriko, to be perfectly honest. But the one that you're going to be using and the one I'm going to be using is either going to be Banchantments or it's going to be Artifacts. Yeah, so.
And poor Lord Windgrace.
Windgrace isn't actually as bad as I thought it was when we went through the deck list the other day, but it's not as good as I want it to be. Do I have the cards to make it better? I do. Can I get the cards that I don't have to make it better? I can. But I don't want to.
I want Lord Windgrace just because, as a commander,
he's
pretty good.
Pretty, I mean, cool looking guy.
His abilities are pretty freaking broken.
If you play around them.
If you play around them.
If you don't play like a heavy land deck, he sucks.
Yeah, but I mean, as a Jund, you can probably get.
Yeah, for Jund, I mean, with green, obviously. Yeah, he can be pretty good. Anyways, guys, we really appreciate you watching. If you enjoyed the content, please give us a like or just even leave a comment down below. We really appreciate it. If you guys want to see more content in the future like this, don't hesitate to subscribe. We like that too. Anyways, guys, we'll see you right here next time at Everything MTG with our next video. Take it easy. Have a good one.